Hello and welcome, I'm Raziel, and this is the Friday Weekend Roundup. But it's all Horus Heresy related today, and it's actually pretty good. Well, most of it is, other stuff's not so great. Now, I've told you I've kind of gone off Epic since Mantic have announced Warpath, but it looks like Games Workshop are trying to get people in it with some battle groups. Now, I like things like this. I like ready-made armies in a box because it tells me that they're willing for you to get into the game without having to spend an arm and a leg. You have a full army straight away. And this is absolutely fantastic. And there's two of them, which means if you're going to collect Titans or, Imperial Collegia, Titanicus Collegia, or whatever it's called, god damn it, I'd hate to play Scrabble in the 40k Millennium. It's so many ways of winning. Just so many silly words. Anyway, but it's two of them. There is the Night House Battle Group and the Titan Battle Group. And they look pretty good. In the Night House Battle Group, there is 12 models and there is 4 in the Titan Battle Group. But we'll soon see why. In the Night House, there is so much in this. There is loads, actually. 12 Walkers, which you have 6 Questorus Knights, 4 Cerastus Knights, and 2 Acastus Knights Porphyrians. Okay, which are the big bulky ones with the huge shoulders. I mean, it's actually pretty good, and it looks like there seems to be quite an array of different weapons and models. Not such poses because they're knights and they're not really that posable, but there's a certain amount of weapons there. It looks pretty good. There's a couple of chain blades. I can see a power fist or two, thermal lances. So yeah, there's quite a few amount of weapons, which means it's quite a bit of kit bashing you can do for this, and have lots of spare parts, which is always good, which means hopefully they're going to be multi-pose rather than mono-pose, which isn't too bad. Now, the Titan Battle Group, as you can tell, has a few models, but of course they're bigger models, which is cool. You have 2 Warhound Scale Titans, a Reaver Battle Titan, and a Warlord Titan. So you have something really big, something quite big, and Warhounds. So what's good about this is that these will be great add-ons to the starter box, especially for those doing Titans and Knights. If that is your army, this would be a good way of doing it, because those 3 boxes would pretty much give you an army, and that would be it. You wouldn't need to get anything else as well. But it also shows that it does look like, though they're getting rid of Adeptus Titanicus, and I should be honest with this, they should be transparent and say, yes, we're getting rid of it. But it looks like that you can still play that game using these rules and having it focused on just the Titans. Which, if that's true, which I hope it is, they might do the same with the aircraft, which would be great. So having, battle groups or fleet air arms or whatever of aircraft, which means you can use them as a dedicated army. So you're not just stuck to troops on the ground. You could have various different armies, therefore making the game far more versatile and far more open than what it is at the moment. Any game which allows that sort of diversity in faction, not just usual foot on the ground with big monsters and aircraft, but having an entire army which is just aircraft, it's fantastic to me. I think that would be great, and that would definitely draw me again more towards Epic rather than Warpath, because I'd like a nice versatile army, and I do like air combat. I've always read air combat. I think it's one of the best parts of science fiction ever since I first watched Star Wars. It was the X-Wings that I loved, and that was still my love today, because Rogue Squadron's the best game ever. Next is the Arvus Lighter. Yes, its price is out, and I've got to say, I'm not impressed. It's 85 quid. I said £82.50 because that was the price of the old one. It's £85 and it's not that great. It's a 100-point model for £85, which gives it an insane pounds a point ratio. I think it's even higher than Orcs and Guardsmen at this point. The only thing it's got going for it is its searchlight, which allows it to shoot at anything past its 24 inches within night fighting, but it has no weapons, so it can highlight other things for night fighting and allow you to shoot at units that it's pointing out with its searchlights. But that's the thing. If you collect in the Imperial Guard for Horus Heresy, swear to God, every little name for 40k is just a Scrabble winner at this point. Yeah, if you're playing, I would just use remnants of the old war stratagem, and then for Horus Heresy, and then that allows you to take rhinos, which are cheaper model, cheaper points, and you can you still get your searchlight. You lose 6 inches of transport. You have more ports of entry. You have weapons for a start, so you can actually shoot things. And if you don't want to get that, you can get an Aurochs, which is £10 cheaper. And again, you have at least a stubber, multi-laser, or a heavy flamer. You lose your searchlight, but let's be honest with you, I think only one of those actually goes past 24 inches. So again, it's not much of an issue. And most boards, what's 2 foot, 20 plus 20, 44 inches. You're not going to be using that searchlight that much because you're not going to really hit that 24-inch mark. So yeah, I don't like it. It's overpriced and it's a pointless piece of crap. It's a horrible one. Horrible, horrible model, and it's not very good. And of course, with Games Workshop's ingenuity here, they still have the old one up with the old price up. So there you go. Well, now we've had the good news, the bad news. Now I have some more good news. Right. Now, of course, we've had Nova. I'm not talking about Volgrim. I've had my piece on him. I'm not saying anything else. But I want to go more into this battle group. Another battle group, okay? I think these are great. It has one small issue, but I will get to that. Right. So they are releasing the Mark III armor. Yes, I do think they should have released a different Mark armor. Or, just not release more Space Marines. Release anything else, like some Assault Marines, Breaches, whatever. But they are releasing these, so let's look on the positive side that you are getting a battle group. I hope it remains like the Age of Darkness box, and if this box is around about £120, it's definitely worth picking up alongside Age of Darkness to have a decent army straight away, and you just have a fantastic army just having those two. But it does have one small issue, we'll get to that in a second. But what do you get in it? You get, actually quite a bit, you get 30 tactical Space Marines, the new plastic dreadnought with the big guns, and a Land Raider Proteus for good measure. That's what it says. As well as you get a Legion special weapons set. Look, I'm not happy that they removed the special weapons from Mark III. It's kind of a kick in the teeth for me. But it's not a bad box, especially if you're adding it onto a force. It's a good way of boosting your force to another 30 Assault Marines. Tactical Marines, I should say. And well, you can have some veterans in there because you have the special weapons as well. So it's not too bad. It's quite good. Like I said, it's a great add-on. If you add this to the Age of Darkness box, you would end up with, for a start, an army, 70 Tactical Marines, a Contemptor Dreadnought, a new Plastic Dreadnought, Spartan Dreadnought, 10 Cataphractii Terminators, the Proteus Land Raider, 2 Praetors, and of course the Spartan one. Great army, and would be very good for any army. You'd have it would be great for anyone starting the game, and it would be a lot of points, and you could actually get a Primarch on top, and that would actually be allowed. Not Horus Ascended, and probably not Volgrim Ascended. I would assume Volgrim Ascended would be about 1,000 points too, so you would need another 3,000 points on top just to do that. Anyway, here is this small little problem, and it is. I've told you what's in it, and you probably understood, yes, there was no HQ choice. It's only a little problem, though. Let me explain why. If you have the spare bits, you can turn one of the sergeants into... If you've got the spare bits, you can turn one of the sergeants, and about 5 of these, into a Praetor or a Captain, and use them as such. The one thing I do like the Horus Heresy models is that they are very, very modular. They're very good for that. The new ones are. I have built apothecaries. I've built all sorts of models using these ones because it's just so good to do and it's so easy to do, and it's got absolutely zero issue. Now, I think this is what's good. Now, these battle groups allowing people to get into the game without having a big expense, because even if you don't get the Age of Darkness to go with this, let's say you want this army, this is all you want to use, but you do need a HQ, the minimum it's going to set you back is 20 quid, I should say. And that is for a named character like Isaac Araman or Dominion Sephon. They are fantastic looking models, and they would look great in your army. So these battle groups are good for that. So you would have a named character to just save you money. Of course, there is the other ones, like I think it's like £35 for the heroes of the Legion Heroes, which has the Cataphractii Praetor plus a Chaplain Console. And even, I've got to say, the Forge World ones aren't too badly priced either. So yeah, so Horus Heresy, and this week for Horus Heresy has been pretty good, and I can't really disagree with it. I mean, yeah, the Horus Lighter, I don't like it. I think it's overpriced for what it is. It should have been plastic. It should be a lot cheaper for what it is. It's 100 points for something that, honestly, you could... It wouldn't take much to take it out first turn for anyone for it fighting. If you're fighting with it, it's going to be what? Strength, toughness, strength 11 armor, front and side, and strength 10 on the rear. You only have the one rear port of entry, and that's it. So it's not really worth you. I don't think it's worth taking. I mean, a 20-inch movement, you're not going to be able to. If you use that all, it's going to minimize the reason of having searchlights. So yeah, I would honestly save your money on anything else. Get a Rhino if you're going to use Remnants of the Old World for your Imperial Guard. Solar Auxilia, get an Aurochs, or even. Yeah, there you go. And that's what you need. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little roundup of this week. It's not been too bad. Nova was as kind of meh. I mean, I wasn't that impressed. But I've got to say, this Horus Heresy stuff we've seen this week has been pretty good for people getting into the game. Long-term players I can see a lot of problems with because there's things that we need and we're missing out on, especially in plastic. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Oh, yes, and don't forget, we have got a new Horus Heresy army coming soon, and I think Fulgrim might have been an indication of that, but I'll get to that next week. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a good day. If you want to save money on your Warhammer, click down below. For Wayland Games, you can save money on your Warhammer, and it's free delivery after 20 quid. Here's my comic and my merchandise as well, t-shirts, etc., etc., and comic. And talking about comics, Forbidden Planet as well. Lots of stuff there. And finally, my Patreon, if you wish to give me money, as always. I mean, you get your name in the end. You will get your name at the end of credits, and that'll be it. Like, you'll get it now when I'm doing this bit. But that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Oh yeah, just forget, treat yourself. I always should. You should, because you're worth it. And thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a good day, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Goodbye.